What year was it when you had your accident? Was it 23?
Yes, it was.
Yep,
Yeah.
2023. And you have a safe tack reverse, a three-horse gooseneck. How many horses were you hauling that day?
I had uh three large horses actually. I had two big draft horses and a Dutch harness horse. I have the gooseneck reverse three horse.
Hmm.
It's extra wide, extra tall, has AC unit on it. Basically my dream trailer. I
Right.
I had a little bumper pull since I had my first horse, and it it just wasn't really working very good for me down here. I didn't have any place to put my tack, and I really didn't pay attention to trailers in general. The thought of hauling a gooseneck is a little intimidating for me.
Right.
But when I made the decision that I really love spending time with my horses, I like going places. Safety safety was an issue, but it wasn't my top issue. It was more of a convenience. It's really hot in Florida. I wanted something that had insulation that I could keep my horses cool in. I liked the idea of the back tack because it freaks me out a little bit when I see people loading their horses through a small little entryway into a stall. I didn't like that. I loved how it would open up if you had a horse that doesn't like to get on a trailer. It just made it really easy. So there was a lot of features, a lot of reasons I went with double D trailers. Safety was, it's just kind of like buying a car. They all have, some are better than others. I knew it was like the safety was a huge thing with you, but it wasn't top of mind when I was buying. Uh,
Right.
so the fact that this one day when I took my girlfriend's imported Irish sport horse and my two over to the other side of Florida for a fox hunt, it was a small road and it was a beautiful day. It was clear, but it was just a little two lane road. There was cows on the left of us, and every once in a while you'd see a little side road cut off. And following traffic, having conversations, laughing. I have the cameras set up in my trailer so I could see the horses were all eating and they were totally fine. And then I noticed on the side street there was a little car coming. It was a little SUV, and it wasn't slowing down for the stop sign, which I thought was like, oh, that's really weird because there's nothing to go into. It's just a cow pasture across the way.
Right.
And I was following traffic, and then I noticed he really wasn't stopping. And I didn't have a lot of time before I saw him and I realized he wasn't stopping. So I tried to slow down, but there's oncoming traffic coming. I certainly don't want to jackknife my trailer. It's very difficult. You can't slam on your brakes when you have such a big haul in back of you. So I did my best, and he ended up just going right through the stop sign and hitting my passenger side back tire.
Okay.
I don't know if the motion is what caused the horses to fall forward and the trailer actually fell on its left side. Because he hit me in the back, it actually did send my truck to the right off the road instead of into oncoming traffic. So I'm very lucky that that happened. And because the trailer flipped and it was still connected to the truck, well, it didn't flip, it just kind of went on its side. It caused the truck to roll. We had 7 points of impact. So the truck really just completely disconnected from the trailer and landed into a bunch of bushes, mangroves actually. So at that point, we were kind of sideways in the truck. I couldn't see anything because my cameras had disconnected at that point, but I could hear the horses in the trailer, and you could hear their hooves just kind of like scuffing around. And we were just thinking, oh my God, this is probably going to be the worst case scenario. There's no way anything lived through this. Like, we can't believe we're alive. So I crawled out the roof of my truck because I had a sunroof. Thank goodness. The glass had shattered. I came out through the roof and I went to the back and I opened up. I have one of those ramps on the back. So the ramp came down, and my biggest problem is that I couldn't lift that tack trunk. Uh,
Right. Right.
but the side door that should be on the left that would open, it would open down almost like a ramp. So the ramp opened up like a right door. The door opened up like a ramp, and I looked underneath to see because I was expecting a really big mess in there. And it was my two horses were just standing up and they looked under the tack trailer at me and they said, "Are we done? Are we going?
Right.
Like, what's going
Yeah.
on?" And
Right.
I thought, "Oh my God, how are you alive? Like, honestly,
Right.
God, how are you alive?" So I had some guys help me lift the tack trailer. We put the ramp to hold it.
Sure.
We walked my two horses out. The everything
So
was in place. Everything
the
was the
dividers
dividers.
were sideways,
They
right?
they
Yeah,
were
vertical.
the dividers. We had to take them out because they were going in the wrong direction at this point. But the trailer was almost completely intact. The only thing that was kind of a mess was because they had fallen forward onto the windows that the aluminum windows were kind of like all bent up and misshaped. That they had broken free from the ties, but I had extra ties in there, so I just had them out. And then the last horse had fallen through that door and was on its side. And because there's like a little bit of a wall before when you go into the trailer, there's like a wall and then the door. That little lip was now this way, and the horse was kind of stuck on it and he couldn't get his hooves down. Eventually, he pushed himself into the gooseneck area. So he was in my front gooseneck with all the hay, all of our bags for the trip,
He was
everything.
in the dressing area,
He
in the
was in
dress.
the dressing area.
Holy
I
cow.
don't know
How did
how
he
he
get through
did.
that door?
He was sideways. He was lying sideways, almost
Yeah.
like he was, because remember the trailer is now outside. He's
Right.
lying sideways. He ended up just thrashing himself through and eventually stood up. So I don't know how he did this, but we eventually got a vet on site to sedate the horse because we had to cut a hole through my roof to drop
Sure.
it. So we had to get him out. There was no way to get him out at that point because the door was, he was standing on it. And they sedated him. They cut a hole through the top of the roof. They reversed the sedation. They walked him out, and he was totally fine. He had a
Wow.
couple bangs and bruises from lying on that little tiny lip.
Hmm.
But other than that, I couldn't believe it because when we had the EMT show up and the fire station showed up, the first thing that we heard them say was, um, you know, basically asking how many bodies they were had to pull up and take care of. And the fact was that every single person in that truck survived, and
Right.
all those horses walked right out. And my friend had to come pick us up with her trailer, and I thought, there's no way these horses are getting on another trailer, and they walked right on. So
Wow.
the way that we think about getting in an accident, like a vehicle after an accident, is different from the horses. They honestly did not care. They didn't, it was like a separate incident for them. Um,
They didn't relate it.
they didn't relate it. Yeah. And then, of course, now I don't have a trailer, so we had to go pick them up across the state. And they got right back on a trailer and came home.
Uh,
Yeah. So,
and you guys, I saw your truck.
yeah,
We
the
talked a lot about horses. What about you? Like, how many times did your truck roll?
yeah, there's 7 points of impact. So, um, you can count like when it like one, two, three, every single every single count. I counted 7 at least because when I thought back to it, you know, but as you do after an accident, you think, what could I have done different? Should I have had like I had a 3500 Ram, top of the line truck. It was fairly new. It was under a year old. My trailer was under a year old. It was brand new equipment. And that truck did a great job of saving our lives in the cab, but it got completely destroyed. The whole frame of the truck, like it was gone. The trailer, on the other hand, it had a little buckle in that front gooseneck area on the floor, but it was the shape was completely intact. I almost thought for a second, should I just get it repaired? Like it was in
Exactly.
that good of a
Yeah.
shape, but
Yeah.
wouldn't have been the same. So of course, I ordered a new one because at that point, I'm never putting my horses in anything else except for a double D trailer. Now,
Oh,
safety is my number one concern.
yeah. Yeah. And when you ordered a new one, it was almost double
Yeah.
of what you paid for the first one. just a
Hmm.
few. I mean, when COVID hit, because you probably purchased in maybe 18 or 19, I'm not sure on your first one, I'd have to look. But when COVID hit, and then the cost just kept going up and up
Yeah.
and so much. And I think your first one was in the maybe upper 50s, low 60 range, something like that.
Yeah, it was like 60s, low 60s.
Yeah. And then the second one was like 90
Yeah,
something.
it sure was.
Same thing, same trailer.
I know.
Yeah, and
Same exact feeling.
we didn't make that much more off of that one than we did the first one. That's yeah.
I
So
know. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah,
no,
and this
no,
and the next time what I did was I put in an extra, I think an extra camera, extra fans, and I put in a latch over that door so that
right,
not that I ever want to flip a trailer again, but no horse will ever fall through that door again.
right.
Because those little latches, they're not very strong when you actually
No,
look at
no.
them.
I can't look. So that he actually went through the walk-through door. Huh.
He must have when we came forward, he must have leaned into it like a wall. The other
Right,
horses had the dividers. He had the wall on his side, and
right.
he must have just pushed the door open. And because it's such a big door, which is great when you were using it,
Sure.
actually fit inside
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, maybe we need to start doing that on all of them then, just putting an extra security latch on the inside to withstand that impact because even if you were to just rear end someone yourself,
Yeah,
the horse is hitting against that wall, so
yep.
you could
That yeah.
easily have another accident like that.
Right. And the door's fine when it's in the upright position, but when the door is now sideways and a horse falls into that wall, they're just going
Yeah,
to snap that lock.
yeah, yeah. And did you have injuries or were you guys okay?
I ended up with a spinal fusion surgery in my lower back. Um, my girlfriend fractured her neck, and my other friend, who is in the back seat, had actually been taking a nap. So when we got hit from the side, she fell over. Her shoulder was a little sore, but she was pretty much completely unharmed. Thank goodness she fell sideways because the back of the truck was completely missing. It got
Wow.
where she just would have been if that hadn't happened, everything was perfect the way that we landed. And it was just one of those accidents where you see it happening after the fact and you think, how the heck did anyone survive? And how did that happen? You know, the
Yeah.
the things I saw on social media when the police or local EMTs had posted the accident and people immediately blamed me. She's going too fast. I see people all the time with horse trailers that are driving too fast or they're passing people or they're doing this. And I didn't do any of that. I was going under the speed limit, following traffic at a safe distance. And
Yeah.
this gentleman had his cruise control on. He was going 60 miles an hour. He was in his early 80s and he forgot where his brakes were and he couldn't figure out how to turn his cruise control off. And that was the problem. It had nothing to do with me. I was in the wrong place at the I was actually in the right place at the wrong time.
Yeah. How did he get injured, the other driver?
Him and his wife he was driving, his wife was in the passenger, and they had a friend in the back seat, and they all walked away fine.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Horrific. So it was, I mean, it was a lick. It was a pretty hard hit.
Yeah. The way that a small vehicle can really cause damage to a large
Right.
truck um, is amazing. I see it more and more now, especially in Florida, where little tiny cars will hit, like we had one hit a concrete truck down the road, and the concrete truck just flipped.
Wow. Yeah.
So just because we're big doesn't mean that we're safe. Just because we're big doesn't mean that we're invincible.
Yeah.
It
So,
almost puts us at more risk.
so it was like a car or a sedan that actually hit you guys. It wasn't even
Yeah,
a
it
big
was a
vehicle.
little SU little crossover.
Okay. Huh. Wow.
Yep.
Well, great information. Thank you for sharing that. We really appreciate it. We'll spread the word and hopefully just make folks aware because a lot of folks they just don't think,
Hmm.
just don't think it's not going to happen to me. We get complacent. I've been hauling for 20 years. I've never had
Yeah.
a problem. And
Yep.
at the presentations I do, I say you never have a problem. until you have a problem.
Yeah, because it's not always you. It's you have to watch out for all these other drivers out there.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just never know when you're going to hit an 84-year-old man who doesn't know how to turn his cruise control off
At 60 miles an
at
hour.
60 miles an hour.
Boom.
Yep.
Oh, wow. All right. Glad you're okay. And
Thank you.
yep, and everyone walked away, and it's a good story to end with. So thank you so
Yeah.
much, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Brad. You too.